Welcome or welcome back to my book channel. My name is Lady Lauren Explorer, and today we're doing another book in the series of Experiment in Terror. Actually, we're going to do two books. Let me tell you why. So our first book is Into the Hollow. This is book 6 of the Experiment in Terror series. But I also realized that there's a novella, which is 6.5. So they're still part of the saga. So I'm going to read Into the Hollow and then 6.5 as the reading blog because they're together. And there's no point in doing a video on this one because it's so small. So might as well put them together. So if you don't know what Experiment in Terror is, it's a series by Karina Hawley. And it's basically a very, very, very slow burn paranormal romance between two novice paranormal investigators. They first start a paranormal show, and then as the books continue on and they fight off these paranormal entities, they become closer together. There's so much drama in each book. It's just a lot. It's a lot. So I'll have them linked above so you can watch if you haven't been following along with the first book, which is Dark House. But now we're going to be talking about Into the Hollow. So we're going to recap. The last book was on Demon Wings, and that was when we had left on a cliffhanger on what was that? Lying Season. There you go. And Lying Season left us on a cliffhanger, and then we get to on Demon Wings, and Perry hasn't spoken with Dex for months now, and she changed her whole number. She's done with the paranormal stuff because of what happened in Lying Season. If you want to know what happened in Lying Season, you should watch my video. I'll link it. We are getting a sense that something is going on with her because she's getting sleepy a lot. She's getting tired. She's having unexpected pain in her abdomen, and she's getting migraines. And then there is things that are moving around in her parents' house, which is where she lives with her sister and her parents, and they're unexplainable. Oh, and also she has mood swings. Very horrible mood swings, and it's weird. So we have Max come back. I think his name is Max. I think it is Max. Max come back, and he was in Red Fox. He's the spiritual person who can read spiritual energies, and we realize that something is trying to possess Harry. And because of that, she's going through the whole process of possession. And a lot happened. Long story short, her parents tried to commit her because Max says that she's getting crazy, and he didn't have her back. He knows that something's possessing her, but he was trying to get back at Dex for something that happened a long time ago when they were in college. It's just like a lot. So if you don't know, I'll just watch the videos, because it's been crazy. The nuances that happen in this book, crazy. But long story short, they get the demon out of her, and she goes back home, and her parents are with the police because basically Dex kidnapped her to get this demon out of her, and her parents don't believe in the paranormal. So they just think she's crazy. Or they don't want to believe in the paranormal. How about that one? That's a good one. So they just going to assume she's crazy. But yeah, so the last cliffhanger was her parents saying that she is not fit to have her own say in what happened to her. And they try, I think Dex gets arrested, and Perry is about to get put into the hospital. And like that was it. It was been heavily implied that they were taking her away, basically, and then Dex was going to jail. So I don't read the synopsis, so let's figure out what this one is. It says, Perry has fought her demons and won, but the battle is far from over. She's now left broken and on her own, leaving behind her life and her family in Portland to focus on giving Dex, an experiment in terror show, a second chance. But their past mistakes continue to tease and test their relationship, as does the wild and desolate terrain of Canadian Rockies. The snow-covered peaks and ravenous forest hides an urban legend too unbelievably frightening to be true, and the only way the duo has a chance of surviving is if Perry can let in the very man who sent her to hell and back. Whew. I am ready. So let's begin. So I got to chapter 8 last night, and a lot. I keep saying this, but a lot has happened. So Perry knows that she needs to get out of her parents' house because of the fear that they'll put her back, or will be putting her into the hospital being committed because they think she's crazy. Max is not helping or hindering, but he's just like meddling. And so the only place she can go to for real is Dex. And Dex is still trying to talk to her about what happened in lying season. And then also her miscarriage. So like that's a lot of things going on. But we also have she's moved to Seattle with Dex. Her parents are not having it. They don't want to talk to her. Her sister really misses her. And she finally decides to give the show another try. It's bittersweet because I know she loves Dex. Like I know it. And she's just being super stubborn. But like Dex is just giving her, he's teasing her a lot with innuendos and stuff, and she's trying to set ground rules about what would he can't walk around with no shirt on, and all that kind of stuff, no touching, no sex, and all that kind of stuff. And then he he said, she's like, why are you flirting with me? Sex is not gonna it's not gonna happen. And he's like, you'll know when I'm flirting with you, because when I'm flirting with you, all those rules in those rule books you gave me are being thrown out the window, and we're gonna have dirty sex all over the apartment. And I was just like, oh yes. But okay, so they haven't done it yet, so one can only wish. But they are going to Canada to investigate Bigfoot. I know, right? That's so weird. Bigfoot? The actual Bigfoot? But yeah, they're going to Canada to investigate a sighting of Bigfoot because Bigfoot has, there's an injury. There's someone injured because of this encounter with him or her. I should say they, because we don't know if it's a he or a she. So they, and they're just going to investigate it, see what's going on. And I also think that Dex is going to be the person on camera, and Perry's going to be the person behind the camera filming everything. So that's another weird one. But they have something's going on because they have each separate rooms with a connecting door. And Perry woke up because she heard this huge thud from Dex's room, and Dex is punching things and stuff like that in his room, and she brings him to her room, and he's like, She thinks it's Abby, the one who is like still haunting him when like Abby's gone now. And he says it's not her, but it's a different she. So who is this she we're talking about? Because I don't think I've ever heard of the she besides Abby. But maybe it's his mom, because his mom did die. And we know from what he's told us that his mom didn't care about him. So I wonder who this she is. Because the creepy clown lady, Pippa, is Perry's grandmother. So she's like a mentor person. Like she's like the fairy godmother of the spirit world for her. Even though she does look still like super creepy. But yeah, so that's where we're at. I just left them in the bed, and I think we're finally about to like do the investigation in the next couple of chapters. So I am here, I am ready, and I'm also trying to figure out, I want them to be together. I'm hoping in this book they get together. So let's continue reading. Okay, so I finished both, and so let me just talk about this one, okay? I know weird angle, but I just have to get this out. So we last left off with them going to this Canada to talk to this cabin girl who was attacked by Bigfoot or Sasquatch. So they meet her stepfather, and his, I want to say like hunting caretaker named Mitch. Mitch is like this big burly guy who's creepy. Keep in mind, creepy. Keep in mind his name is Mitch. They try to like get the story from the girl, Christina, and Rigsby as her stepfather. And they go to this cabin that's like an hour away from like their main house. That's where they like put up the people who want to experience the wildlife, all kind of stuff. So that the first night they're there, they're talking about the stories, like Rigsby's stories of like his encounters with this Sasquatch thing. Very creepy. Very realistic. Like if someone told me this story and I didn't believe in Sasquatch or Bigfoot, I think I would believe in something, just not that. Like I knew it wouldn't be like a bear. Like he was like too detailed with like the descriptions of like the terra, the limbs, and then like the footprints. Wow. Okay. So while they're at the cabin, Mitch is being a little bit creepy. Like a little bit creepy. He's like very coming on to like Perry a lot, and Perry and Dex have a little encounter, and she gets drunk and she's like very horny, and she's trying to get Dex to have sex with her, and he's trying to be the good person. Like, I can't take advantage of you. It was so sweet. And I was just like, oh yes. But she was thankful in the morning when he told her that nothing happened, even though he didn't want something to happen. So Rigsby and Christina leave, and it's just her, Dex, and Mitch. And Mitch is the hunter, so he's going to be with them in the wilderness. So as the day goes on, Perry hears something scratch, and when she goes outside to investigate, there's nothing there. But the next day, Dex looks at the place that she said she's scratching, and there's this weird footprint that they saw. And it's the same footprint that Rigsby made a mold of to say that this is Bigfoot's footprint. That was crazy. So they then think that it's one of the two. It's either A, Bigfoot, B, one of the three people who are trying to get publicity to come into bring more people, tourists, to the area, or C, it's just an animal that's not Bigfoot. Llamas start dying because Bigfoot beheaded a llama and then gutted it and then left its carcass. It was so much. So we get fast forward to them going to the woods to camp out to just get any kind of visual evidence. And Mitch is getting drunk. So at first, all we had was the llama's head. That's what they only found, the head, no body. Then they wake up and there's the llama's body with nothing in its cavity. It's been gutted fully out. So they know that something is playing with them. It came to them at night, walked right past their tents, and then just left the carcass and then walked out. Nothing. It's playing with them. And again, Mitch is drunk. So they're okay, well, we're just going to check everything out. And Perry is I really want to leave. I just want to leave. I want to leave. And she's I'm going to look after the llamas. And as she's unhooking the llamas, because llamas are getting kind of scared, Mitch comes out of nowhere and he just starts bashing her, and he's about to sexually assault her. And she's calling for Dex, and Dex comes, and then they have a fight, and Dex punches, knocks TKO him, Mitch out. And then Perry and Dex just start running. They're trying to get back to their area, but then they get lost. So all they have is the guns and her backpack and the maps that Christina gave Perry, where she had instances of where she thought the Bigfoot sightings, where they lived. So they're running and they're trying to get away. They make it to a site where Christina says that she thinks Bigfoots live. And she's hey, we need to leave. We need to get out of this area, because this is the area that Christina says she thinks that these Bigfoots live. They hear noises, growling, footsteps, branches breaking. So they just drop down in time to see the foot that made the foot imprint at the lodge they were staying at, and that Rigsby's mold was from. And it's crazy. So they try to make a run for it, because I think the camera beeped, and then Bigfoot realized that they were right next to him, or they. And so they just make a run for it. They're just running. They're running to the edge of this cliff, and Perry makes it first, and then Dex behind her. So she turns around because she's we can't do this. There's this cliff, there's water. We're I'm not doing this. And Dex is still running, and she turns around and sees what's running after Dex, and it's Bigfoot. It's a human and an ape with kangaroo legs is just sprinting. It's sprinting after them. And Dex tackles her and pushes her off the cliff. And they just fall into the water. And the Bigfoot thing doesn't follow. So they get out the water, and they're trying to survive, because it's cold, super cold. So you have to get naked, and then they have that moment where they finally are. Some steam happened, and this is the part I hate. I was just okay, this is the moment where you finally just be yes. Get together. You almost died. This is a great moment to just get together. And then Perry ruins it, because Dex was pouring out his heart, and Perry was not having it. She was just you broke my heart too. And I was just yo, girl, he saved your life from a possessed demon. He almost died because of it. And you're still not over him in the his like reaction to falling in love with you. Like he was shocked that he fell in love with you, and he's telling you that's the reason why he like just shut down in lying season, and you're not hearing it. You're just stuck on your own feelings of like pain, when after all this, it's been months, and he saved your life from, again, a demon possessing you. He almost died because of it. He almost went to jail because your parents said that he kidnapped you. He's in love with you. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, Perry, come on, girl, let's do this. Like, but they have like a heart to heart, and they just decided to squash it for now and just be roommates. And she so they're trying to make it back, and they almost get back, but something happens to Dex where like he like falls, and Perry can't find him. Like he's covered, like there's rocks, there's snow, like she can't find him at all. And she's like, she falls down as well. She wakes up and she's like down the hill. And I don't know if I told you guys, but like Perry is telepathic now. She can project her thoughts to other people. So she tries to project her thoughts to Dex. It works. She takes a shotgun shell that she has, and she wants to let him know like where she is, so she shoots it. And she's waiting, and she's like, she finally sees Dex, and she's running to Dex, and he's like, run, because right behind him is Bigfoot. And so she's like, I don't know, like in her mind, like I'm about to run right now. Like she's like, she tells him to move, and so she takes aim and then shoots at Bigfoot and takes off his arm. That's crazy. Oh, I even forgot to mention. So like, you know how like they left Mitch before Dex fell. They heard him screaming, like he was getting torn apart, and they found his arm. So yeah, like he's gone. Like they took him. Back to the scheduled programming of me telling you what's going on. So then we get to the point where like they're running because like Bigfoot just got shot. So like, I don't think he knew what to do. He stood there for a minute, and so they just start booking it back to the lodge that they're at, and they like bolt in there and try to shut the door, and they do, and they're like, okay, we need to figure out what's going on. We need to like block the windows, and then all of a sudden like the cabin starts shaking, and they know Bigfoot's out there because like he's groaning and he's like mad and he wants revenge because like his arm is gone. So like, he's trying to break down the door, and they're like, okay, well, we need to figure out how to get like to survive this. Like there's no guns, there's nothing in this place to save us. We're gonna die if like he gets to the door, and he's like getting through the door. And then he stops trying to get through the door and goes to the window. He breaks open the window, and he's about to like get into the lodge, and then like Rooksby shows up, shoots him, and like Bigfoot's gone. Like he just drops and leaves. And so like Rooksby like then tells us like what happened. So Christina sabotaged them. A lot of things would have happened like I think Mitch would still be alive if Christina hadn't sabotaged the walkie-talkies and the motion sensors, because she did that before she left. And I know Christina's like 16, but like she killed someone. Like basically her actions killed Mitch. And I understand that like Bigfoot killed him, but like her actions killed him too. So we get to the end, and they give the police all the evidence that they have, which is like the videotapes of like what happened, and they are going to sleep in separate rooms because again they said that they're just gonna like be friends, be roommates, and maybe work something out later on. And then Perry she realizes that she loves him. Like she wants to be with him. So she goes to his room, and they have another steam session, and he's like, hey, I want you. I want this forever. And she's like, I want this forever too. And it was just so, it ended like that. It was, so I'm thinking they're going to be together in the next book. But 6.5 is, and with madness comes the light, which is tattooed on Dex in this book. Like, she's been trying to figure out what his tattoo says for the longest. And then finally, at the cabin, he tells her. In this one, we're following Dex's point of view the whole entire time, from like book 1 to now, well, to book 5, which is on Demon Wings. And we'll also follow a little bit before then, because this is when we find out like Dex had a brother, and him and the Abby situation that happened, and then again him finding Perry in Dark House, and then from then on. And we also get, like, it's his point of view from, like, instances like Perry was like, I don't know what he's thinking. And I loved it. Like, we knew that, like, some of those awkward conversations or awkward silences that Perry, like, picked up on, in his mind, he was thinking of something completely different. And also, you could tell that he was falling in love with her in book 2. And then in book 3, he knew, like, he was, like, falling in love with her, because he even started to, like, when he was having sex with Jen, when he thought of Perry, he said that he had the best orgasm of his life and the hardest one. So, yes, this was, yeah, I needed his point of view. I just needed his point of view, and it was amazing. And when he said that, like, in book 5, when Addie called Perry to tell him that, like, there's a demon possessing Perry, and he was so devastated, he, like, dropped everything and left from Seattle to Portland to be with her to figure out what's going on. And it was, this was good. So I finally finished these, and we're going to be moving on to book 7. I'm so nervous because, like, our series is about to end, but I know book 11's coming out, and I am ready for book 11. But then the series will be dead now. Like, oh my gosh, it's going to be, like, bittersweet for me, because, like, I've now fallen in love with these characters. And to, like, have, like, the whole series end is going to be so wild for me. But I am ready. I think it comes out February 1st or 2nd. But we're going to move on to book 8, because physically I only have up to 10, because 11 hasn't came out yet. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. We will be starting book 11, book 7, because this is 6. Did I say book 8? Wow. We're gonna be starting book 7 in a little bit. So just stay tuned. Anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. My name is Lady Lauren Explorer, and I will see you in my next video. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to see more of me. And I am starting other series after I finish this one, so stay tuned for some of those as well. But I will see you later. Bye.